Now, the National Youth Stakeholders Forum has urged the federal government to recruit forest guards to address the security crisis, particularly in Benue State. The forum made the call in a statement issued by its national leader, Oladotun Hassan. They are calling for concrete reforms that will overhaul Nigeria's security framework and prioritize forest guard recruitment, increased intelligence funding, and better coordination among security agencies. Hassan stressed the need to modernize military equipment and improve synergy among the armed forces, the police, and intelligence services. He called for improved welfare packages for security personnel to prevent corruption and ensure morale remains high in tackling insecurity. And now I'm joined by two stakeholders in the security value chain. Nanmak Bali, who is the president of Plateau Peace Practitioner Network. And of course, I have Oladotun Hassan, who is the national leader, National Youth Stakeholders Forum. Hello, good evening, sirs. Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening. It's a pleasure to be on your program.
Okay, so I'm just going to start with you, Hassan Oladotun, because you canvassed for this. How well can forest guards address Nigeria's security crisis?
Well, we have to understand the current inferno that have bedeviled and rain wreckage of deaths, killings, mass murders, and it has now become a recurrent daily decimal from Plateau to Kano to Maiduguri, almost daily news of killings. And the best way of dealing with security is not just the duty of the army, the police alone. The citizens are the core bedrock of security. And the proposal from the federal government is one key factor the National Youth Stakeholders Forum is highly interested in, which is the coalition of all youth groups across the country, from student movement to NGO to ethnic nationalities organization. These are leaders across board in the 36 states of the Federation and FCT. And we've had meetings severally that how best can we have synergy, very solid synergy. Now that the government is coming up with the proposal for the forest guard, we have equally proposed to the government the National Joint Security Task Force Network, whereby with the proposed forest guard, it is most important that the government don't need to go far in curtailing the excesses of insurgency. Rather, they have to go in the communities to recruit able-bodied youth that are interested, volunteers, not in the number that the federal government is looking forward to. We are talking about 1 million Nigerian youth are ready to partner with the federal government, distribute themselves, be at various spots that will serve as intelligence gathering, nipping in the bud before the detonation of crisis prone area, whereby killings are being carried out in the broad daylight without any defense. But when this forest guard and the local task force, maybe just like we have the civilian JTF in the Northeast, this is just an expansion whereby the OPC, the hunters, everybody that are involved in local security management will be synergized, well captured. They work closely with the federal government, the Nigerian military, the intelligence, and the DSS and police, so that before the arrival of the military, the local youth that are already involved in the forest guard that I recruited would have submerged that insurgents at the heat of the matter itself. So,
okay, let me quickly talk to Nanmak on this. Now, Nanmak, do you think that forest guards can actually do a better job in providing security than having a state police?
For me, I think contrarily, because I tend to see it from this angle, like everything is being centralized. Why is it being centralized? Because when you look at it, this has not been properly factored, as in the structure of how this is supposed to be had not been properly factored. me, I would rather go with the community policing rather than the forest guard. Because for the forest guard, it looks more of like a centralized thing. Why is it that we keep saying everything still relies within the central? Federal government has to do this and that, the issue of security, and seeing the porous way, the way security is being handled in this country. No, that is not the way to go. Community policing should be, because the community should be the first respondents before any other person, looking at the dynamics of what is happening regarding our security architecture here in Nigeria. Thank you.
Now, Oladotun, just as you mentioned, we have the Civilian Joint Task Force, we have local vigilantes, we have Amotekun, Eastern Security Network, and the likes. Now, some people are saying that why can't we strengthen these security outfits instead, rather than have another security outfit come into play?
You know, in security management, there are different layers. I've already proposed to you that we have already written to the federal government on the need to bring and coalesce all these groups of security association, the OPC, the Civilian JTF together under National Joint Security Network. That is a local community policing task force. The forest guards are more like the same set of community policing, but this one are supposed to be in the forest, where the others criminals that are really launching attacks within the forest areas across the country. You know, majority of our forests are infested with terrorists already, and the only better way for us to deal with it is for us to have forest guard. So the forest guard is a specialized arm of community policing strategy. Everything still is under the umbrella of community policing. But where we now want the federal government to work on is for us to have a legislative powers that will synergize this structure together beyond just recruitment. Beyond recruitment, there is need for adequate funding. There is need for intelligence sharing, equipment, and we're talking about sophisticated weapons for them to handle AK-47, not just all these cock and guns that are not capable to confront the dreaded terrorists. So whoever that are coming as hunters cannot be carrying a pump action when the so-called insurgents are carrying sophisticated AK-49.
Okay.
So we need this set of people to be properly equipped with highly tech equipment, with body cameras, with vehicles. These are the major. It's not just establishing the forest guard, but how to really ensure that the Nigerian police and the military are properly motivated financially. We have requested that an average military officer in the U.S. Army is well paid, is given a lot of motivations, and a lot of enabling support system are there to motivate them. So we need such for our military men.
Okay.
Our military men should not just be paid patronage sum. They should be paid in a very huge sum that will give them that comfort. And the same should go for the forest guard and even our local security hunters.
All right, Oladotun, I'll come to you in a bit. Now, Nanmak, there have been accusations of complicity and lack of political will to tackle insecurity in Nigeria. We know that the bulk stops on the table of the government. Now, won't this be a big barrier, this issue of political will and these accusations of complicity, when we're looking at meaningful initiatives that can actually improve security in Nigeria?
Exactly. You just said it. So political will. Because to all of it, the issue about forest guard is not, security issue is not just mere jamboree where you just bring anybody, put him there, give him all that is there. All of this that my colleague just talked of, why is it that our regular security cannot have this? Why can't we just look at the issue of paying? Why can't we look at the issue of equipping? Why can't we look at the issue of manpower and all of it for our regular security? And even at that, if we have that political will, or if there is that sincerity of purpose, I think the issue of forest guard is just a mere jamboree. It's easier talking about security than having it done how it's supposed to be. For me, we can still utilize all these facilities that we're talking about, trying to have a forest guard too. Remember when the debate of having NCDC started, a lot of people were, oh, why do we have to, and today, we're still talking about the issue of insecurity, even with the NCDC, even with the policing and the rest, and we're still moving to the issue of forest guard again. I think the issue of security is not just a mere jamboree, but being sincere about it. But if government is sincere, then let's have these bodies that are already on ground. Let's get to equip them and get them moving.
All right, Oladotun, to wrap things up, with an already lean purse, how do you expect the federal government to fund these forest guards initiative?
Well, it's a multi-funding sector initiative, and in view of the willingness of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's intention to ensure that security of lives and property is well guaranteed, and we just believe that in dealing with this issue, there is a need for them to first of all decentralize the police to ensure that we have state policing, we have the regional policing, we have the national policing. In terms of now funding, it's going to be both government and private funding initiative. Even individuals should be readily available to donate freely, just like we have the Lagos State Security Trust Fund. There should be a National Security Trust Fund whereby our corporate multinationals will have interest in supporting. We have a lot that can be done in this regard, especially when we talk about black spots in terms of going to Benue State, going to Plateau, all the dark spots that we are currently faced with high insurgency. There is a need for emergency plan to ensure that recruitment, training, and ensuring that those they already have, they have a proper database for whoever they are recruiting, and also ensure that they provide adequate welfare that will ensure their survival, so that the intention of fighting insecurity through both kinetic and non-kinetic approach in terms of dealing, ensuring that people are properly educated, there is proper synergy in information sharing. Sometimes the police is okay, give us information. Well, who are the citizens going to trust?
Oladotun, we know
of the DPO.
We understand. It's a lot of work that needs to be done if we are going to achieve quality and improved security in Nigeria. We hope that the Nigerian government will take this initiative. Oladotun Hassan and, of course, Nanmak Bali, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the news.